everyone, I'm Sarah Martin, the Associate Director of Forecasting at Dodge Construction Network, and today we'll be looking at November's DMI. Quick reminder here, the DMI tracks the 3-month moving average of non-residential building projects as they enter their earliest stages of planning. We exclude manufacturing and transportation projects, and we only include projects valued at $500 million and below. The DMI typically leads construction spending by about 12 to 18 months. So the Dodge Momentum Index declined by 1.1% in November. On the commercial side, it was pretty much flat, ticking down only about 0.1%. And on the institutional side, we saw activity slow by about 3.4%. Now, data centers continue to be pretty influential here. So when we remove those, the DMI would have actually decelerated by about 4% this month. Now, digging into the data a bit, on the left, we have our commercial portion of the index with and without data centers. And then on the right, we have our institutional portion of the index. So on the left, you can see that a bit of a divergence, right? Again, for the total index, when data centers are included, the levels look pretty flat for commercial, but without data centers, it looks like a little bit of a stronger pullback. So we did see declines in warehouse activity and hotel activity again this month, but that was offset by sustained momentum in data centers, traditional office buildings, and retail stores. On the institutional side, we continue to see activity kind of normalizing overall. So pretty much every sector declined in November. So education, healthcare, recreational projects, and so on. The only sector to see growth was religious planning. But again, even though we saw those declines, you can see that levels remain pretty robust overall. And so they're just kind of normalizing after some really strong months. So overall, I think the story remains pretty similar here to last month. Growth is certainly in the DMI is being sustained. Levels are very strong, but we know that it's centered really around data centers and hospitals. And we also know that inflationary pressures are keeping the levels up as well, right? So owners and developers are building in higher construction costs, higher material costs, and all of that is driving up the index. So put that together, we do expect that in aggregate, non-residential construction should grow and reaccelerate in 2027, but that will be heavily centered around those two sectors. And that the other non-residential sectors are much more susceptible to facing macroeconomic weakness and volatility and weaker demand as we move throughout 2026 and into 2027. So just keep that in mind, that this growth doesn't correlate to equal growth across all sectors. All right, that's all I have for you this month. Thanks so much for watching.